Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the final section of the series that we're going to be doing, where I'm doing my little autobiography. Now, to piggyback on what I was saying before, in the sense of moments that were detrimental to who and what I'd become. Through my military career, I would embody every form of myself. Every form. Whether it was the hero of justice that I envisioned myself to be, the free spirit, the addicted, misguided son of the universe, and then the newly formed, disciplined, adamant, and pure-hearted person. I met people, made more bonds, made more brotherhoods. So many that even now it's strange that I am still the way I am and so disconnected with people, and I have this thing where I can't really keep tabs on you. I can't really, reach out because something holds me back in my little fortress of solitude. But I met brothers like Rashad, my bad. John Villamora, Joshua Munoz. Now, I had brothers who we were friends from the pulley system, like Victor Ruiz and Palacios and some other people who, when we went to military, we got closer, and things drift when we go different places. But I also met someone that was super dope. Dan Evans, someone who I partied with. I had all these crazy times with. Someone who was there for me at all times, and as well as Dietrich Schmiemann. Two people who, along with my other four brothers, who were my support system, my backing. These people were always there, you know what I mean? And in these moments that I was tried and pissed off or wanted to quit or give up, remember that I was every part of myself. So the quitting part was easy. It was something I'd known all my life. Now, having these people around when I had moments of breaking up with the first girl that I thought was supposed to be, it wasn't that I wouldn't even say that I was truly in love. I had misguided what I thought I saw. Helping me out with that, and I handle breakups like a wreck. Helping me out when my sister had been diagnosed with cancer, and all I could do on a constant basis was drink my pains away, knowing that I could do nothing for her. Moments when my best friend back home, who had been helping me on that end whenever I went back to my room and I wasn't with my other friends, because remember, I had depression, and I have a very dark, deep depression that I've just recently been able to expunge from my soul. But when my best friend died, who I've spoken on other podcasts, I was in a deeper, darker depths. Times where things triggered me. Moments where I'd almost killed people because of the situations we were in. Or had the chance to, and had to remember to hold my ground. I had moments where I was able to get wild and free. Bang a lot of girls, drink a lot of alcohol, punch a lot of people, fuck, fight, get drunk. I feel like that was my motto. It was to the point to where they had levels of how intoxicated I was. And I was always on level 1 because I was always some form of intoxicated. Well, always drunk. It was what I did. But, some median level of my level 1 was always he had a beer or two. 2 would be I had a couple shots, and the hilarity and and also the vulgarness as the levels went up. It was 5 levels, like DEFCON 1 through 5. They were like these hysterical moments where you didn't know what the fuck was coming out of my mouth. You didn't know what I was going to do, but you always knew that I would get fucked up and make my way home and do the right thing. Now, it's all the adventures and the great times, the women, the booze, the adventures that we went on. The things I could never take back, nor would I want to. When I started to realize that even though I was becoming this better version of myself and I had all of these past me's there to look upon and say, take the good from here, take the good from here, try to expunge the bad, I had still been numbing myself. I'd still been doling my mind with alcohol this time, solely alcohol. I had let a part of me go to excuse it too. All this had kind of began to change because at the end of my stint in Okinawa, it's when Neil died. It's when my Aunt Carmela died. She died Tuesday. He died Friday. And my aunt was someone who was detrimental to my life beforehand. And she was someone so very important to me. And losing those 2 pillars, 2 people who had always cared, loved, been there, no matter what version of me I was, it had destroyed something inside of me. It made me be ready to fight for whatever I needed to, but also run from anything if it ever got too close. I dated this girl at the end of me leaving Okinawa. And because of the emotional situation I was in, I put too much on her. Expected too much. Maybe tried to make her become something she wasn't. And in turn, I dealt with another loss. And in dealing with those losses, I'd found myself, instead of being located in California to take care of my sister, like I had even left Japan for, because I loved it. I planned on spending my entire military career out there. But when my sister was sick and then those 2 people passed, I could no longer stand by. I found myself in North Carolina, which honestly was the best thing for me. The military installation out there was fucking shit, and my unit was fucking disgusting. A bunch of fucking childrenous men who didn't have the gall to stand up on their feet as men, but only behind their rank. And if it wasn't for a man named Christopher Variali, I probably would have punched or shot a lot of people in the face because, Jesus Christ, they were dickheads. Anyway, meeting people like Captain V, Christian Canada, Preston Urbanek, Tyrone McWilliams, Joel Scotland, Justin Sanders. These people who, just like my brothers before, became people I can depend on. People who, no matter what, I had their back, they had mine. Brothers again. And this time it was in the South, and it was ironic that we were all black. I got a sense of self in that moment, a sense of a huge self-worth. Now, I never brought this up in the other two just because I wanted to make sure I was focused on it now and not making this about some racial barrier or racial difference that I saw. Being articulate and intelligent and African American usually means people think you're whitewashed, and because you decide not to get ghetto on them, they think that you're, an Oreo. But I found my sense of pride in that moment. Self-worth, not as a black man or an African American, but as a Negro, as an American as well. And it helped build upon loving myself. It helped break down those flaws that I had before. It helped me let go of a lot of the bullshit. And even though now I may not be sober, but in those moments then, because of them, I was able to believe in myself, stick to my spiritual beliefs, become sober, and they supported it. While other people were in my past, if I was sober, they'd question it. They'd question why I wasn't just having fun because, it's weird not to drink. Like, I can't trust you if you don't drink. But no. I'd found something. Another part of me that was hidden away. Always there. The best part of me. And when it comes to my mind every time I think about it, all those who I experienced in life, all the moments that I had to deal with, the pains, the sufferings, it was all worth it. And it wasn't just that I was just going through shit or things had to be bad. It was that life was testing me and putting my will to the test, putting my drive to the test, putting my resolve to the test. Because just like when I was younger, when I wanted to be a cowboy, astronaut, police officer, doctor, lawyer, it wanted to make sure I was adamant in who I was going to be and the success that I was speaking upon into existence. With looking back and seeing where I started, what I turned into, and who I've now become, I was able to acknowledge that life is more fair than we know. It's more loving, more caring, and it's not life in which that causes our disruptions and our pains, but it is us. We are the masters of our own destiny. Nothing I can do can change anything about you unless you allow it. Nothing anyone has done to me, whether it be the sexual abuse, the discrimination, the racial oppression, the hating me or not liking me, none of it meant anything because I decide who I am. Now, we're coming in on the close of this discussion. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. I'm not really too good at talking about myself. This is actually like the third take of like a 45-minute run. But I'd like for you guys to keep tuning in. Keep giving me suggestions at jkdb42@gmail.com. And you've been tuning in to The Dark Roast with Kai Dorsey. Thank you for waking the fuck up.